Hello everyone and welcome back to Joys That Flies. If you're new here, my name's Cassidy and I deal with the sewing side of this channel. So in today's tutorial, I'm going to be teaching you how to sew a blind hem on your sewing machine. So this is the perfect stitch if you're either making your own pair of trousers or you're altering a pair of trousers and you want the hem to look really professional. A blind hem is quite obvious from the name, it's an invisible hem. So it's a specific stitch on your machine that sews an invisible stitch, which is quite unusual because generally all invisible stitches are all hand sewn, but this is the only one you can do on your sewing machine. So all you're going to need for today's tutorial is your pair of trousers that you're wanting to hem, some thread that matches as closely as possible, and your general sewing equipment. So let's get to the tutorial. So here are my trousers that I'm going to be using today. If you're thinking they look a bit funky, they do for a reason. They're just a mock-up from a pair of trousers that hopefully the pattern will be coming out for soon, so subscribe to stay updated when that happens, but I'm just going to use them for an example for today. So the first thing to do is to mark the width of your hem on the bottom. Now, if you are altering a pair of trousers, what I would suggest you do is you measure the original hem and then create a hem the same width as that, just so you can be nice and particular and do the same as the original. But if not, if you're doing a pattern and it says how wide to do it, mark that width. But if not, if you're, say, making the pattern yourself or it doesn't say in the pattern, they generally do, so that's not very likely to happen. But what I would suggest you do is to choose a hem bigger than 1 inch, about 1 inch, 1.5 inches. For an invisible stitch, I just think a wide hem makes it so much easier to do. So just mark on the wrong side of your fabric the width of your hem. Now for this next step, I have two options. The first option is for people with an overlocker and the second is for people without an overlocker. So if you don't have an overlocker, don't panic, I have an option for you. So if you have an overlocker, yours is nice and simple. All you're going to want to do is on your trouser leg, overlock around the edge of it to stop any fraying. And if you don't have an overlocker, you've got two options. First one is you can use a zigzag stitch on your normal sewing machine and sew a zigzag stitch around the edge like you would almost overlock it. This is a good option, but it's not my favorite because I don't find it quite as professional looking and neat. So the other option for you to do is very simple. All you need to do is iron 1/4 inch hem along the bottom of your trouser leg and then just sew it closed with a straight stitch. Don't worry, you won't see it. So once you've done that, fold your hem in place and iron it, so using that marking we made at the beginning as your guide. And now we're going to fold our fabric so that we can sew it properly, and all you're going to want to do is basically tuck your hem inside and then you'll get 3 layers of fabric. So as you can see, we've got the overlocked or hemmed edge and then you have a fold on top of that. You're going to want to have your fold so it's about 5/8 of an inch below the overlocked edge. So you should see that overlocked edge poking out above it, and you're just going to want to pin this in place all of the way around your trouser leg. So you can see it a bit better here. We have 3 layers of fabric, the overlocked edge, and then a fold on top of that. And if you have a look inside your trouser leg, you can see the fold we pressed at the beginning. Now that we've folded our trousers, we can get going with the sewing side of it. So basically every sewing machine will have this stitch, but just have a check in your manual to find it and find out what number it is on your machine. But if you're unsure, it looks like this, basically straight stitch, then a zigzag stitch, straight stitch, then a zigzag stitch. It's quite recognizable. And then you're just going to want to select that and place your fabric under your presser foot. Now you're going to want to place it under your presser foot. So as you can see, your straight stitches hit your overlocked edge and then your single zigzag stitch just pierces the folded edge on top. You're going to want to have it so that you're just catching the very edge of that fold. If you go too far in, then the stitch will then be visible to the outside of your fabric. So you're going to want to take it really slow, be very careful with your placement, and just sew your stitches all of the way around your hem. Once you finish sewing, you can unfold your hem so it looks like a normal hem basically, and give it a good press flat. And then you can see that your stitch is invisible. As you can see, mine isn't really the best. I was just a bit rough with my mock-up, but the stitches are invisible. You can just see a couple of dents. But let me show you a pair of trousers that has been done before, and you can see on these that it is invisible. You can't see any stitches from the outside. So that shows that the colour of the thread matched perfectly to the fabric and that the stitches just hit that edge, so it just caught one thread instead of indenting in the fabric. And that is all there is to it. It's actually quite a simple process once you learn how to do it. There's just a couple of things that you've really got to master, like making sure you've got the right position under your needle so that when it hits the folded side of the fabric, it just catches the edge so you don't see it on the outside. And really stress the fact that you've got to have a really good matching thread to your fabric. So just in case when on the outside of the fabric you see a little indent or maybe a little bit of thread peeks through, it's not noticeable because it's such a good match. And that's all there really is to it. I hope this tutorial helped. As always, if you have any questions about the whole process, just drop them in the comments and I'll do my best to answer you. And I will see you next time on the channel.